belly up to this bar, and I'm like, what are we doing? And he looks at me and he goes, this is moonshine. And I go, no, I ain't doing this. I'm not doing moonshine.
Right.
He called me a few choice words, and the bartender, cute little girl standing behind the bar, laughed at me, and said, you're going to do this. I said, all right. So they have a list always up on the back wall about what they're tasting, and I said, all right, I'll taste this one, and I'll taste this one, and she goes, that's not how this works. You're tasting all of it, just like we're gonna do today.
That's peer pressure right there, man.
Yeah. Just like we're gonna do today, we're gonna taste all these, and I taste the first one, and I'm like, yep, this is for me.
It's a good ass vibe, good ass time whenever we link, whenever we meet. Good ass mood, good ass drinks, good ass rap on this good ass beat. It's hot, it don't need a hook, and I got flights I need to book. Good ass rhymes, good ass bars, good ass flow, good ass job, and I'm making good ass dough. I talk what I talk, know what I know, and keep it real. This a good ass show, that gas with Drees and Shell.
It's your boy 233, and when you hear that song, you know it's gonna be a good ass show. I mean, you got me here, and you got my guy.
It's your boy Shell Trevon. Y'all already know what to do. Follow me on Instagram, SHELLTREVON. Let's go, gas.
All right, and we got a special guest in the building. You see our list. This the man behind the master plan. We got Kyle in the building, man. We met up before, but now he's in the building back in Orlando, straight out of Michigan. What's up?
How you guys doing?
We doing
Good,
great,
man.
man. Doing good so
I'm
far.
pretty excited.
Yeah.
So you left the snow to come out here down in Florida, man. How you
Listen.
treating you so far?
Listen, when I left, I was walking in a really nice layer of snow.
A nice layer
It
of
was
snow.
really nice outside. I had my Han Solo vest on.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
You know, I was
Trying to stay warm?
Yeah, I was feeling
Man, he's saying nice, like he's enjoying the snow. We're the opposite. We love the nice warm weather. He enjoys the snow.
I asked you what's wrong with you. Why'd you move down here?
Yeah, he
You know?
did ask me that. He
You
asked me
know,
that.
that shit. It's I don't know who lives here. I don't know who's crazy enough to live here. It's 7,822 degrees at all times.
Yeah.
And I can't take it. I cannot take it.
I love it, man. You just go down to the beach. You can be there all day long. Ladies in bikinis. You ain't got to do nothing. You got to spend your money.
You're-
Nothing, man. Just sit outside all day,
That's a
man.
plus. Just sit up
Come on.
there, have any one of these
Yeah.
drinks, and see
You
the
got the
ladies
drinks.
walk
You got the
past.
alcohol, man. They
That's
gonna come
a
to you.
plus
You
right
ain't got to
there.
go nowhere.
All I'm saying, have you ever seen this in bikini?
They gonna love it. They gonna love it. They
And
gonna love it
you do not
regardless.
have enough copper tone in this state to keep me like this. I can't do Florida. It's too hot.
You get them your drinks. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna worry about the belly. They
For
ain't
sure,
gonna
for
worry
and
about
you got
it.
the
They ain't gonna
slushies
worry
too. We're gonna get into it a little bit later. But you know they would definitely love them on the beach down here.
Look, we do well with the slushies in Florida. They're great. But you know, I don't need to pack any more pounds on, so I need no more slushies. So I go up north, drink some whiskey.
Okay,
You know.
okay.
As you should, as you should. My man, we got Kyle here. If you can see, we got the Sip Shine. Is a what's Sip Shine?
Sip Shine's a moonshine.
Moonshine.
Yeah.
And before it came in cans, but now you got it in the 750.
Yeah, we got in the 750s now. We started with moonshine in a can. Moonshine is just an unaged whiskey. That's what it is. So it never touches a barrel. It comes off our still at 188. We do it 90% corn, 1% malt.
Okay.
So it's just a true American moonshine.
And you know, a lot of times when I pull Sip Shines, I get the haters in the comments. They say, "That's not real moonshine. Moonshine's made in the backwoods."
Sure.
We
Well-
gotta know, like, your response to those people that say that.
Well, I'll tell them that it was made in the backwoods. That's where it all started, right?
Yeah.
So we started with making it in the garage, allegedly making it in the garage. So this is true. This is the recipe from the backwoods that has just come to the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because we pay taxes now on the booze doesn't mean that it's not real.
Right.
It is moonshine. Moonshine is just a classification of a whiskey that you can that's made with corn. That's really all it is. Now I will tell you, and we're not going to name any names because that's not who we are. But there are places out there that do claim that they're making moonshine that are putting what's called GNS into their shine. That's what's called a grain neutral spirit, which is basically a vodka. That is not. So if you guys are out there and you are looking for real moonshine, the front of this bottle, what you'll notice, it has a statement of fact. What does that say right there?
Whiskey.
Whiskey. So, if you're looking for real moonshine, make sure that the classification says whiskey
And not
that,
vodka.
and not GNS.
Oh, GNS.
So if it says Great Neutral Spirit or GNS, that is not a real moonshine. You want to find something that says whiskey.
Yeah, because a lot of people say if it doesn't come in the jar, it's not whiskey.
Yeah, but it also comes in a jar and it's not moonshine. Right?
Yeah, man,
so
not
just
moonshine.
the vessel is not what matters. The statement of fact on the front of the bottle is what's going to matter.
So for all the people out there that jump to conclusions, make sure you know your facts, reading the labels, and know your stuff. Because this guy right here, he definitely knows his stuff because he ain't start with one, he ain't start with two, he start with a whole few. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the classification for that, when you're reading that, and, especially it's all liquors, right? You want to make sure that you're reading that. Some people will classify it as a bourbon and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Some people classify it as Kentucky bourbon and it's not, right? So you really got to read that front of that label and really know what you're drinking.
Right.
So you schooling me because I didn't even know Moonshine was actually a whiskey.
Yeah.
So what made you get into it?
So we went down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We've been there.
You been there, man? Yeah. Great time. Make
Yeah,
sure
we've
y'all
been there.
go check that place out.
Yeah, if you've never been to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, great time.
Mm-hmm.
So we go down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. My brother-in-law jumps out of a building and he says, "Kyle, there's free booze."
What you
in this
mean?
building."
Wait. Go back. You can't skip over that jump out of a building.
Yeah.
You mean like from the second floor out
Yeah.
onto the street?
It
or
was like Superman. It was like from the roof,
from the roof?
So no, he jumped. I always say jumps out of a building, but it was actually just 2 of those steps.
Mm.
You've actually been in the distillery that he jumped out of.
Okay.
It used to be called Davy Crockett's. Now it's Old Smoky Distillery.
Yeah.
So Old Smoky Whiskey bought Davy Crockett's. So now it's Old Smoky Whiskey.
Okay.
So that's the building he jumped out of. It's only 2 steps. It wasn't that impressive.
Okay.
But he jumps off these 2 steps because he just did 14 moonshine tastings, right?
It's pretty lit.
Yeah, well,
Pretty
he
lit,
was
okay.
pretty lit. So he jumps off the steps in front of me and he says, "Kyle, there's free booze in this building." And I said, "Why? Why is there free booze in this building?"
Right.
He says, "I don't know. Just get in here." Okay. At that time it was free. When you were there, now it's $5.
$5. It's
Yeah.
still a great deal.
It's still a great
$5
deal.
for
So
all the
wow.
shots.
Okay.
Yeah, $5.
For 14 shots.
That was
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah,
Yep.
testing everything. Damn near.
Now, keep in mind, there's 4 distilleries you can do that at. So 14 times 4 times $5 for $20 in Gatlinburg.
It's a good time.
You crawl out of there.
Yeah, that's a good time.
You might throw up.
So I've heard. So I've heard.
Allegedly. Yeah, so he jumps out of this building and says, "There's free booze in here." So we go in there and I belly up to this bar and I'm like, "What are we doing?" And he looks at me and he goes, "This is moonshine." And I go, "Haha, no, I ain't doing this. I'm not doing moonshine."
Right.
He called me a few choice words, and the bartender, cute little girl standing behind the bar, laughed at me and said, "You're gonna do this." I said, "All right." So they have a list always up on the back wall about what they're tasting, and I said, "All right, I'll taste this one, and I'll taste this one," and then she goes, "That's not how this works.
Tasting all of them.
You're tasting all of them, just like we're gonna do today."
That's peer
Right?
pressure right there, man.
Just like we're gonna do today, we're gonna taste all these, and I taste the first one, and I'm like, "Yep, this is for me." 14 later, I go out and get my wife, bring her back in, and I say, "Hey, there's free booze." Okay, now keep in mind, my wife, she drinks this much Malibu and this much Pepsi, right?
And she
Like,
thinks she drinks?
Yeah, she don't drink liquor. She never did. She never liked liquor.
Right.
So I bring her in this place and she says, "All right, what are we doing? Moonshine." Same reaction. "Hell no, I'm not doing this." And I'm like, "No, I'll tell you which ones don't do," right? So I'm nicer to her than they were to me,
Right.
right?
You gotta
They're
put
making
the
me
whole
even try the
gauntlet.
135s. Everything.
Moonshine kind of, when you think of moonshine,
That's
you
the
thinking
thing,
it's
that's
the strongest
automatic.
alcohol, like it's gonna put you
Oh
down,
no!
like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you think. So then they start you out with the 135. So you heard my reaction. I'm like, "Oh, this is for me, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not for her. So she don't taste that. She tastes all the good things. I watched her walk out with 6 bottles.
Wow.
And I looked at my brother-in-law and I go, "They got something here." If my wife walks out with 6 bottles, there's something that's really good about moonshine. I don't know what it is, but they intrigued her enough to buy 6 bottles of booze, right? And she don't drink booze. So we brought some back for our friends. Go back to the next year, do the same thing. Bring some more back. On, right? So we get kind of known as the moonshine guys around our town. And this time you can't buy moonshine in Michigan. Old Smokies isn't there. Sugarlands isn't there. You can't buy it. So we're bringing it back for our friends, and we get to this point where we get known as like the moonshine guys. So all our friends are like, oh, what do you bring back this time? What are you doing? Are you making cocktails? We're sitting around the pool one day and the sisters go, it'd be really funny if you guys started a distillery. Ha ha, funny. Here we are.
That's a great start. I didn't even learn that from the first time like we interviewed you on I'm Probably a Drinker, but that is a great story. I mean, since we talking about tasting, let's start with the first taste.
Yeah, so the first thing we ever made, allegedly, was the Shineberry sweet tea. So that's the one that's all the way to your left there. This is it's a black leaf, it's a Kenyan black leaf sweet tea that's mixed with black cherry and strawberry to make the raspberry flavor. So what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a really nice like pure leaf sweet tea. You guys ever have those like square bottles of sweet tea from the store? You know, Pepsi distributes it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like a raspberry pure leaf sweet tea.
I think the
So we
reason
are gonna use the communion cups today.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put the spirit in you.
Literally.
Yeah. So in this church we don't drink wine, we drink shine.
I think with the shine with your wife, because you know with the other alcohols and stuff like that, you drink it, you get that burn.
Yeah.
With the shine, it's like you get that flavor. You only get that burn. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So this is the first one we ever made, and I want to keep in mind that my brother-in-law threw up minimum 15 times me trying to make stuff. And when I told him I wanted to flavor this, he looked right at me and said, "You ain't old Smokey." I'll never forget him saying that to me.
Of course, like sometimes those things that stick to you that motivate you to get to where you are right now. It's even like with me moving to Florida, I had a friend that he don't remember he said this. You know, he probably don't. Your brother-in-law, he probably don't remember he even said that.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? But it stuck with you to motivate you to get there because he told me he's like, you'll never leave Philly, and I was like, watch this.
Watch
I'm gonna go make a difference. I'm
gonna think I'm old Smokey. You watch me.
Yeah. But
So,
I mean, you're doing your thing right now. And
Kenyan black tea leaf. And it's gonna be a raspberry flavor.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
So you don't get that burn, nice smooth. You get the nice flavor from it.
Like you put this over ice on a hot day.
Mhm.
In a Yeti.
And the thing is, like,
You
you don't
sit on the
need,
beach.
you don't need like, you know, like certain things you got. It's either like it burns too much or you gotta drink too much of it to get where you want to be.
Yeah.
This is like, you don't. It's a perfect balance where it's nice and smooth. You don't have to drink 10,000 drinks to get, you know what I mean, feel something. So
And it's
that's
still
what I like
full of
about it.
flavor.
Yeah, it's definitely full of flavor.
Full of flavor.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
what I like.
So we make this one. My brother-in-law, remember, throws up 15 times trying this stuff. We make this. He got in this jar, right? He's shaking, and he smells it, and he goes, "Man, I've smelled stuff that was smelled good before, and it tastes so bad." And he's shaking. He puts it up to his lips. He takes this little sip, pulls his head back, and he goes, puts his lips back in and tastes it, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's good!" And that's what he tasted.
Yeah.
So I take that home to my wife.
So were you tasting it before your brother-in-law? Or?
No, never.
You wouldn't
no
say
chance. No chance. Yeah. Yeah, no chance. I would never try
So
that.
he was always the first one to try. No
Always.
matter.
Always the first one to try it, and if he didn't like it, no way.
Not moving.
So what was that whole process like with you learning how to like mix it up and with the flavors and all that?
The first thing was we had to figure out how to make booze.
Yeah.
Like you had to we didn't go.
So you
to,
was like brand new. You were just a drinker that turned into like you got to learn it.
I'll be
from
honest.
scratch.
It was just an idea at first.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't even drink. I was kind of like that guy that would bring like a Coors Light to a bonfire, like once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Right. Like before I found Moonshine and Gatlinburg and liquor, honestly, like I shot back shots of whiskey because my buddies told me to, right? But I hated it. It tasted like crap. So I never drank
Never
whiskey.
would've guessed this.
I never. No, I didn't like anything. I just literally drank like Coors Light every once in a while, at a bonfire. But like there wasn't even Coors Light in my fridge. There was no bottles of alcohol in my house. Like I was never a drinker. Like I said, I mean, you go to the party, you're 21, right? Like you're going to the club with your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't a drinker.
Right.
So I never even understood what any of this was. So we had to figure out how to make the booze. That was the hardest part. I mean, we figured out the recipe. You know, we use 99% corn now for a reason. It's very sweet. It's easy to flavor, and it tastes good, right?
Definitely does.
So these whiskey guys, they're out here using like mixtures of corn, barley, rye stuff, and you actually like the whiskey. Like their talent is actually probably much higher than mine. right? Because that's very hard to use those different ingredients and make a very good whiskey. Corn, and maybe they'll say the opposite, right? And maybe they'll say like, hey, if you can make something taste good with corn, like that's great.
Right.
But we figured out that corn was the way to go.
So did you go to like a lot of like distilleries, or was you just like
YouTube,
just your own
or
research?
YouTube University.
It was more like YouTube. It was more like YouTube University. Watching a few guys trying to figure out. But even those guys, like I tried some of their exact recipes. That they were like, oh, that's the best moonshine ever, blah blah blah, and like I would do their exact recipe, and I would taste it, and I'd be like, oh, what the?
So that's how you learn how to get your spin and everything. You put a spin on there and make it to like the taste that you and your people prefer. And that brings me to this one, which is like you told us before, is like something that you made specifically for your wife.
Yeah. So in the alcohol process, you have to go through the federal government, right? So you have to make the flavor, then you have to produce it to the federal government. So I was working with a company out of Louisville, not Louisiana, Kentucky, and they were helping me get everything, when we first started the company, everything legal, everything through the government, and because we want to give it to the public. So I took all the recipes and I brought it down to this company, and they were helping me get everything done. Keep in mind, the whole story started with my wife, and she wanted, I wanted to make something for her, right? So when we made that Shineberry sweet tea, the first thing she did, I brought it home to her. She put a straw in it. We were at just a gathering with our friends, and she put a straw in it, she drank the whole jar. Wow. Right? So this whole company was built for my wife, and she says to me, "You didn't make anything for me." And I said, I made this whole company for you. like I wanted you to enjoy all this. You enjoy all of these things. And she said, yeah, but you made them all, but you didn't make one for me. So the night before I went down there to get everything finalized, I worked in the kitchen for a while. And
How long did it take you to get this flavor that you actually wanted?
This one only took me, I worked on it for about 5 hours.
Okay.
And I woke her up at 5 a.m.
And how long did that one take?
That one?
Yeah.
Like months.
A month?
Yeah, months.
Because this was
And
the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one.
It took
So
5
now I
hours
got
for
this
that
one right.
Who was the taste dummy for that one?
She was.
Oh, she was the taste. Okay.
So I made it that night. I woke her up. I kicked the bed and I said, "Here, try this." She sipped it and she goes, "Yep, that's mine."
Wow.
And so this flavor, this raspberry shine, it's our number one selling flavor. And
number
it's
one right there. So
yeah,
y'all
it's
think
number one selling flavor, and this was made specifically for her. So you're gonna get raspberry on the front. You're gonna get cotton candy in the back. You're gonna breathe out. And it's gonna be lemonade.
This was the first time I tried these. Like I tried these three the first altogether the first time.
So just
This
give
is
it that
the
little
this what
breath.
I
Yeah,
like
that. I
the
see
most
something
at
like
first, but it changes every single time. There's
Yeah.
a time, a period, probably like a month or two like this. Then I went to this one, and I went to one we're going to try next, which is the
What's fun
Arnold
about
Shine.
sip shine is you don't have to have one flavor you like, right?
I switch all the time.
I switch all the time too. So at one moment it's Granny James, at one
Yeah.
moment it's this, at one moment it's that. Summertime in Michigan, right? It's gonna be Arnold Shiner.
Yeah.
I call that my grass cutting moonshine, right? So I gotta drink it afterwards because if I drink it before, my lines get all fucked up. So I like to use that one or drink that one in the summer. But in the winter I like to drink my peppermint and pumpkin. And when we get the new ones out, it always changes, and that's okay, right? So we didn't design one flavor. There's a lot of brands that come out with one whiskey, one bourbon, one. We want to touch multiple people. That sounds terrible. We want to touch multiple.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
multiple genres, right? Like we want to be able to hit everybody.
Right.
And in my taste buds, I've never been the guy that ever walked into a liquor store and bought something twice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
definitely makes sense.
I mean, you're a little bit like that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to try an array of things.
Mm-hmm.
So if we come out with one flavor or one thing, it just doesn't work.
Right.
You're always going to be constantly, your palate's going to change, whether it's season, whether it's...
This is something we talk about a lot, like with the seasons. You might, like, summertime, this is more summertime vibes.
Yeah.
This is more like, wait, let's see, that's what
This
this
is
is.
like the
This is more like
holidays, yeah, holiday
fall.
time,
No,
yeah.
this is like summer peach. But these two is like more fall. This is more like winter, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, oh, it's like kind of switched up and things
They
like
came
that.
out
for
the
me.
Gannett Peak for winter too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're up in the frozen north, you need something to warm you up.
Yeah.
You need a little
I don't
86
really want no
for sure.
tequila and lemonade. That's more summertime, like
Yeah.
kind of drink for me.
Yeah.
But like for the wintertime, nice warm, you know.
You know what's wild? The slushies sell 24/7. Don't matter. Cold outside, warm
Really?
outside, don't matter.
Come on, man, you getting excited? I told you how much I wanted to try it, and you just get me
Well,
more
it's
excited.
like 2 miles down the road.
And now I know that. But before we talk about this, and then you talk about how difficult it was to get that perfect tea and lemonade mixture that a lot of people can't get it right.
Mhm.
But I tried this before. Have you tried this
I'm
one?
not sure. Yeah, we did drink.
Yeah, and it's like the perfect combination. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think before you said that it's more tea with the lemon in it. Like you can better explain than I can.
Yeah, no, I like to hear it from you.
I know, like the first introduction I got to it, it was like more of a tea flavor and just adding a little bit of lemon because you can add too much to overpower it.
Mhm.
Am I correct?
Yeah, so what happens with lemon a lot is when you're trying to pull the lemon out of an alcohol, what you're going to get is like a pledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you ever sprayed that on your wood, right? Like all of a sudden you get like this perfumey lemon pledge type of thing. The other thing you can do with lemon is you can go too sweet. So if you go too sweet, then the lemonade, right? And you try to go after a lemonade, like that lemonade is just not right either, right? So you gotta, what we used was a Meyer lemon, and that is gonna get you away from the pledge, and then the tea is bumped up just a touch, right? And you had to use the right tea too. So you couldn't use, in this type of drink, you're looking for something that has that really nice tea bite to it.
So it was a different tea from what you used
Correct.
from that one.
So that's a Kenyan blackleaf tea.
Mhm.
This one is a Chilean green tea. So we want to use that green tea to get the bite, and then the lemon takes the bite off, right?
Right.
And then the sugar takes over for the lemon instead of lemonade. So if you to try
That's
to
a lot
use
to learn.
lemonade, and
I'm trying to keep up.
there's a lot that goes into this
Yeah, it's
stupid
a
little bottle.
science.
But yeah,
so people
this
just think it's a simple lemon and lemonade and tea, but no, it gotta be that perfect mixture to get it to taste like this.
yeah.
So if you guys haven't tasted this, this is something you have to taste right here.
Chilean green tea.
Because right now
with
this
a
is my
Milo.
favorite out all of them right
Oh no, we shotgun a few of these.
now.
Cheers,
Cheers, fellas.
Wow, you shotgunning.
He actually just learned what it's like. what a
Yeah, I
shotgun
just,
was.
Oh, you never
yeah, I
done
just
shotgun?
started.
Within like
I just
two-
started on the shotgun.
Within like 2 months, he just learned.
So have you ever shotgun a sip, Sean?
No,
Yeah,
I haven't.
Oh God.
He gonna be
On the floor. I'm gonna be on the floor.
yes,
you will.
So we do have a creep behind us today too. Derek's in the background. He's from Sipshine. So,
Yeah.
I hope that we get a little commentation out of him. Is that a word?
Commentation? It is now.
I feel
It's
like
not.
it is. If it's
a
not
good one.
Webster, hit me up.
Hit me up.
599.
They work on the spelling of it. How that works.
That felt right though.
Yeah.
It's all
Didn't it?
It was
context,
smooth.
right?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes commentation.
That
It was smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. All right, we're gonna work with that.
Oh, this one's not even open yet. To get to the first whiskey you got into, which is the name is a unique name. Actually, it took me a while to catch on to the name of it. And
This
so
is
like
actually
one
one
time
of
I
my
tried to like text it. And I was like, wait, this is like Colin Brody. Like I never put it together until like in the future, like
Yeah.
way before. You know what I mean? Before I tasted and everything.
So there's an influencer on TikTok, half a million followers she's got, 600,000, I don't know, something like that. And we used to work with him at a different company that we kind of all worked at together.
Yeah.
His name is Brody Wilkinson. If you guys don't follow Brody Wilkinson, you should. He does some pretty good drink reviews.
Right.
But me and Brody became friends through TikTok, and there was a need for some peach whiskey, and the people that we were working through came to me and said, hey, is there any way you think you can make a peach whiskey? We can't get Crown. And we said, no.
Wow.
I said,
I'm learning so much. By the way,
Wow.
like just like y'all are, I'm learning so much today because
yeah.
That's amazing.
I didn't know
that
they came to you and say, "Hey, can you make a peach whiskey?"
because they can't get crème.
Because they couldn't get Crown
Mhm.
peach.
Wow. Yeah.
So they came to us and they said, Cal, we love all sip shines. Do you think you can make a peach whiskey? I said, no.
Mhm.
No, I'm not doing it. And then there's no reason to. I'm like, I'm not trying to compete with Crown, right?
Mhm.
Like, if I wanted to be Crown, I would have just came out to be Crown. We're sip shine. We're not Crown.
Mhm.
So he comes back to me and he goes, look, I got Brody on board. he'll be the influencer behind the peach whiskey. And I said, great story. No. So Brody, through that time, was looking to get up on his sales, wanted to kind of learn the salesmanship aside. So I kind of started to mentor him through that, started getting into his lives, and we started doing a lot of sales through that company we were doing. And he was really good at it.
Definitely.
So
I go to sleep and just wake up as 1,000 Brodies.
Yeah, exactly. So Brody got really good at doing sales, and through that mentorship of teaching him how to sell, we just became friends. And after we became friends, that's when it just made sense. We started lives together, and our fans actually started calling us Coyote. We went live so often together that they started calling us Coyote. So they were expecting Kyle and Brody to go live together every night.
Right.
So they started calling us Coyote. And when our fans started calling us Coyote, and I learned who Brody was and how, and everything just kind of hit.
It was perfect.
I called him back and I said, I'll
this
do
work.
that peach whiskey for you, but we're gonna call it Coyote.
Yeah.
And he's like, Coyote? He's like, what does that mean? And I go, Kyle and Brody mixed. And he was like, oh, dude.
That's
He's
dope.
like, yeah.
Definitely.
He's like, that's that. And see, now the brand has a story, so it has an identity. It has a reason for what it is. Sipshine has the reason because look, we love Gallenberg, we love what Old Smoky and Sugarlands was doing, and I wanted to do something for my wife, so it had a meaning. Coyote at first, it was just a peach whiskey. It had no meaning. It meant nothing to me. So I just didn't want to do it. But now that we have Coyote,
pop it open. So
pop that open.
You got
It's
me
funny
saying
though,
when you
because-
pop it, you guys, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's funny.
That has a great story behind it too.
It's funny though that you say that you made this because they couldn't get the crown.
Yeah.
Because I've had the crown, and then the first time I had the Coyote Peach, that's what I compared it to. I compared this to the Crown Peach, and I like this one better because the Crown Peach was a little bit sweeter than I prefer my whiskey to be.
Yep.
And I was like,
they give you that
I
more
love
whiskey
this.
right here.
So
Yeah.
there's one thing with flavored whiskeys that I think they always did wrong. So on top of it being cool and it had a story now, I always thought that Crown just wasn't quite right. It had too much sugar, it had too much thickness to it, and I just thought it wasn't right. So I thought, I can fix this. And so not only can we come out with a cool brand and can it be a good flavor, I can fix something in the market that's wrong. Right? So with Crown, they're putting a lot of additives, a lot of things like that into it. So we're doing something really different with the Coyote Peach and the Coyote Apple. That is it's super awesome, and I don't know why more people don't do it. And so and maybe I'm gonna give a trade secret away, and maybe more people are gonna come out with it, right? But I don't really care because.
Is it because they take the easier way out in production faster?
Yeah, so
I feel like a lot of people do that. You know what I mean? They take the shortcut and the additives and stuff like that to get it out produced faster.
Yeah.
Then somebody else will take their time, give it a better flavor and taste.
Yeah. So what we do with it is it's a 99% corn whiskey, okay, which is not typical for a flavored whiskey. So it's a 99% corn whiskey. We age it for 2.5 years. Once we take it out, then we blend it with the Georgia peach and a Georgia peach almond. So we're not adding anything to this except for the whiskey and the Georgia peach. Okay, so we're not adding corn syrup. We're not adding any sweeteners.
Whiskey flavor.
We're not adding whiskey flavor. We're not adding anything to it. It is a Georgia peach and it's whiskey.
But
That's it.
That's one thing that I learned, starting to drinking and stuff like that. A lot of people buy things for names because the name and not the taste. And, you know what I mean?
Branding is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not crapping on what they do is great, but I feel like this is the pure way to do that.
And you can taste the difference.
You can certainly taste the
difference.
We're actually going to get a little vanilla from this, which is really interesting because we don't add any vanilla to it. So the vanilla is actually coming from the barrel, but it's almost becomes a peach cobbler at the end. And you're like, why is there vanilla ice cream in this? It's just so good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, fellas.
Take that breath in once you drink it.
See, it has that
And you
heat
get-
to it that I love.
Yeah, that really nice heat on the front.
I love that.
The heat really dissipates, but when you breathe in, you get that vanilla. But that vanilla is straight from the barrel. It's so good. Now we just had it neat too. We didn't even chill it.
Yeah,
like
what
this
I
is
had-
totally warm.
Yeah, that's great.
I had a question about this, right? So I see like this is 35% alcohol by 35%, alcohol by volume, right?
Yeah.
And I had a liqueur, which was like 40% alcohol by volume.
Mm-hmm.
What makes that a liqueur stronger? Well, I don't know if it actually makes it stronger because it's alcohol by volume, but I don't know if you better like explain that to me because I asked a few people, but they really didn't have the answer to me. But you're a guy that's like in the industry and can explain that more for me.
Yeah. So liqueurs are typically actually lower
Mhm.
in proof, right?
Right.
So a 40% liqueur is actually pretty good. Liqueur is just a way of really telling people
It's
and
more sugary?
There's more sugary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So they're
kinda-
adding.
kinda thought that.
You're adding
I
a
wasn't
lot
sure.
of sugars and additives to the end liquor at the end of the day, right? So what this is basically telling you is 35% of this bottle, right,
Mhm.
is going to be the liquor. So the rest of that for us is going to be water and flavor, which is going to be the peach that we put
Or
into
the
that.
peach.
Yep, and the water.
Mhm.
So if it was 200%, that whole bottle would be pure liquor, right? So all that percentage is doing is really telling you how much of that bottle is actually not water.
All right.
That's all it's really telling you.
Yeah, I kind of understand now. I don't know if I remember I asked you that question. But
Yeah.
that cookie liqueur,
Yeah, it was- yeah.
I was like, it's 40%, and this is 35%. I'm
I
not
was surprised.
I had that. Was that good?
It tastes like cookie.
We'll go with that. It tastes like cookie.
vanilla
Yeah,
flavor
it
from it.
tastes like a cookie.
Yeah, okay.
So we took them out like little flavors and stuff like that. You got the Granny Jane's pumpkin bread.
This is a really fun story too, right? I mean, actually, all these have really fun stories.
Yeah,
So
that's
I can
why we're
just
here to
keep
talk.
saying-
We talk about chalk and
I can say that I remember one of these. So Granny Jane is a real lady. Granny Jane lives in Hudson.
Is that a family member?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
She's a real lady. She lives in Hudsonville, Michigan, and this is actually emulated after her pumpkin bread. So after every Thanksgiving meal or holiday meal, we have Granny Jane pumpkin bread. She always puts it out. It's fresh. It's hot, right? And you slice into it, and you get that nice bread, that butter, that fresh, right? And like that, I just really wanted to bring that out.
Is it?
So
Do you get that smell that we smelling right now from
yeah,
this?
yeah, you do.
I
It's
do
almost the
smell it.
exact same smell. So you're gonna get pumpkin, which is gonna be a light flavor, just like a bread, right? Because in the pumpkin bread, you're not getting like heavy pumpkin. Just like in a banana bread, you're getting a lot of banana, but it's not like over banana, right? So in this, if you're not a pumpkin fan, this is perfect because this tastes like pumpkin bread. So it's light on the pumpkin, heavy on the bread, but it's gonna butter your backside.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is that dessert right here.
This is that dessert, yeah. We love to say that it's gonna butter your backside. So you ready to get your backside buttered?
Cheers. I'm ready. I think this is like really surprised me. I like did a TikTok on this, and I really was surprised. I was like expecting not to like it. Like I really was like expecting not to like it, and I did. And I was like, what the? Like I really was like surprised by it.
I remember watching it because his exact words were, "I don't even like pumpkin. I don't even know why I'm doing this."
And I mixed it with like I think a vanilla Coke, I'm a vanilla Pepsi, or I forgot what I mixed it with like another time after that, and I was like, I really liked it.
Yeah.
And it really surprised the hell out of me.
It's that smile that you put on afterwards every time when you take that sip of Sip Shine or Coyote and you just go,
Man.
like, what? Like, why is that so good?
When you make these, do you make them to pair with anything, or is it just a sip?
Yeah. So all of these are really meant to sip, right? That's really what it's meant for.
Okay.
They're not. I mean, it's called Sip Shine for a reason, right?
Right.
Actually, that's got a funny story too. We'll get into that later. But it's really meant to sip. All of these are meant to be on their own. But what's fun is to see all the pairings that people do, right? So when you get the pairings and you don't expect it, right? And then all of a sudden, like this one.
That's a good ass idea.
When you put this one with apple cider, like who would put caramel apple latte with apple cider? Like, who would even think that?
That's already enough apple, I would think.
I know. And then you're like, why are you gonna put coffee flavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Latte, right? Why are you gonna put coffee with apple cider? You put this with apple cider, and all of a sudden you're like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why did that work? If you watch Thick Redneck Johnny's content, he's constantly doing sip shine, and then he does that afterwards. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that good? I don't know.
Speaking of that, like adding it to like coffee, or I add this to tea, and I also add this to hot chocolate.
Tea?
I did add this to tea.
Like hot tea?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Like a green tea or?
It was just like a regular lemon tea. I added this to a regular lemon tea, and I also added it to so why? It works. It works, and I also added it to like hot chocolate.
Yeah, hot chocolate iced tea. Tea?
Yes, and
This
I
is
like it both ways.
This is actually my favorite creamer
God,
for my
yes.
coffee.
Absolutely.
This is so now I have to pour this in my coffee.
You know what's funny is everybody. This is the peppermint mocha. Holy crap! There we go. This is a peppermint.
What is it? You gotta
Yeah, I
read
gotta read it.
it.
It's a peppermint mocha shino. Because I always call it peppermint. Like, I don't know. I always call it something different. It's peppermint mocha shino. It tastes like a Starbucks peppermint mocha.
Yeah.
Is what it tastes like. But everybody always thinks the peppermint mocha shino is going to be cream. And then we pour it, and then people look at you, and they're like, whoa, that's not a cream? And we're like, no, it's not a cream. And then they taste it, and they're like, what? But if you like Starbucks peppermint mocha, if you this is another one that was made for my wife, right? Because she drinks peppermint mocha in the middle of the summer. Like I'm talking, she goes to Starbucks in Orlando, and she's like, "I'll take a peppermint mocha." I'm like, "It's fucking June and it's 200 degrees outside.
Yeah, man.
Like what the hell?"
You
are
know,
doing?
you know she's sweating when she's drinking it.
No, it's like Transformers or the fucking North Pole.
You can't go wrong with it, man.
She's
Peppermint
like-
mocha.
she's
You
like,
can't
"Oh,
go
I
wrong
just
So
with
that's
it."
what you do in the middle of the summer too?
Yeah. Peppermint mocha.
He
man.
gets it. He
That's
does
my
it in the
favorite.
middle of the
That's
summer.
my favorite.
So, this is peppermint mocha shino. It is a Starbucks.
We're gonna do this weekend
peppermint
in
mocha.
Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, we're going to Indianapolis
Are you?
this weekend. Yeah. It's gonna be freezing.
That's so.
I think honestly thinking that's my first time drinking it without mixing it.
Without a mixer,
But
doesn't it not taste like a Starbucks peppermint mocha?
No, what it tastes like to me is a peppermint patty.
A peppermint patty, yeah. I hear that quite often too.
Or peppermint patty.
Yeah.
Andes mints.
Andes mints.
Yeah, that's what it tastes like to me.
It's so good. It's so good. It took 5 years to make because peppermint. What peppermint will do is peppermint will pull alcohol out, no matter where it is. That peppermint will pull alcohol out so hard that you'll breathe fire, right? Like that's just what peppermint does. It's very rare that you find a peppermint flavor that doesn't have an alcohol burn behind it ever, because peppermint's so hard to work with. But what chills this down is the mocha, that chocolate that you're tasting. You're almost tasting like a Hershey's chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Right? Like you really are. Like a melted Hershey's chocolate bar is what you're tasting.
Yeah.
Like you're even getting that little bit of dryness on your lips from the chocolate. Like, it's so good.
Definitely it is, man. And like, it's just like so crazy to me where it's like, we went through 6 so far, and they're all so good. And I'm not exaggerating just saying that because it's you, because I would have told you. Because I really thought this was like the pumpkin. Yeah, honestly, I would tell you what's my least favorite, honestly. The watermelon.
Yeah? I
Yeah.
fixed it.
Oh yeah, it was like the least favorite to me because you get. I'm not. It's because of what I prefer, and it's the spice.
Yeah.
I don't prefer the
Oh,
spice.
shit, I made it spicier.
So
Yeah,
so
I made it
that's
spicier.
I know a lot of.
spicy.
I like spicy.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm a person that don't like spicy, and it had like it has like a spicy kick to it. So people that actually enjoys that, they will love that probably more than any of this right here. But for me, I'm not a person like I know people that like spicy margaritas and stuff like that. I'm not one of those people. I really don't really like.
Jalapeno.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's not me. So
Jalapeno,
that's the only
habanero,
reason why I was
the
like.
hotter, the hotter it is, man, the
Yeah.
better, right?
Yeah.
Like I ate Cajun tortellini or whatever last night. Like,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
all paid for it.
You're welcome. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my like my least favorite up here would
So-
be that, and the reason is not because the flavor is not because the flavor is there.
Yeah.
It's just that the flavor I don't prefer because the spice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the watermelon is good and the spice is there. So if that's what you prefer, that would be good. But like if you guys looking for any of these things and you're looking for that flavor that it says, you're going to get that flavor that it says. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we are true to our flavors.
Yeah, for sure.
Like 100%. So our watermelon chili, I mean, just like a little accolade here, just became the #1 flavored whiskey in the state of Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they eat the chamoy and the tahini.
But you know why? You know why? They like it spicy down
Yeah,
there.
the chamoy
Like
and
you said, that's
tahini.
why you make the different flavors, because you want to reach different groups, different people, you know, because everybody's gonna have a different like the taste buds that you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So in the slushy machine, they use the watermelon chili. They put it in there, and then they put lemonade with it, and they call it a moonshine margarita. So it's a spicy moonshine margarita. So it tastes kind of like there's tequila in there, but there's none. So
Like-
everybody freaks out down there about it.
Yeah, like the Dirty, he really likes like a spice. Like anytime we go
Spicy
somewhere, he
drinks.
gets spicy margaritas.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's something he really.
So yeah, so
enjoys.
some of them, like, you know, it was Arnold for some, it was watermelon for some, you could sit in a group of 5-6 people, and everybody's gonna pick that one.
Right.
And depending on the day. You know?
And
One
depending
day
on
it
the
might
day.
be this, one day it might
Yeah.
be that.
For sure, it
Absolutely.
always changes.
So this the next one we're gonna do, the Coyote Apple. The Coyote Peach was that thing we came out with because we got asked to, right? So we got asked to come out with the peach because we couldn't get the Crown Apple. The problem was we sold like 3,000 cases in a month because the peach went that fast, and we were like, oh, this brand and this flavor, there's something about it like that we have to keep going. So we had to build more peach, and then
Oh man.
what we had to do is we had to come out with a.
Sorry, man.
I want you to spill it again. That's why I'm having you pour this.
After
One.
these shots. After these shots. My hand getting a little shaky.
So we had to come out with another flavor because Coyote Peach was such a success. Like it just couldn't. We had to put something else on the shelf next to it. So a single spot on a shelf is great.
Right.
But when you're gonna have a brand that can have multiple spots, that's really what we needed. So we were like, well, what's Crown's next best thing? And we were like, look, if they want us to come after the Crown Peach, let's go after the Crown Apple. You guys know on TikTok, now it's known as the Crown Killer. If you hashtag Crown Killer, Coyote is gonna come up.
Right.
Like that's what it is. So we came out the apple. Now, I'll tell you, we sell more peach, but the apple is where it's at. And when this gets in the market and people really start tasting this, like you're really gonna understand. We went to the Detroit Whiskey Festival a few months back, and out of 3,000 whiskeys that were at this event, this was the fan favorite.
Really?
They called us 2 days after the event, right? Okay, you're talking Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace.
Well known.
You're talking everything.
Well known brand.
You're talking everything is there, everything. And we get called 2 days later, and they go, "Hey, we just want to congratulate you guys for winning fan favorite." And we're like, "Well, like our booth."
Like our booth?
we're like, we know our booth line was, nobody else had a line. We had a line forever, right?
Yeah,
But that's because we were doing slushies. Like, slushies just create that vibe where people are like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to go to this booth. And then once you get a line, thing is, your line gets longer and longer.
Because
and
everybody
longer.
sees it.
Because
and
they're
I
like,
gotta
why
go
is there a
over
line? Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, like our booth is a favorite. They're like, no, your whiskey. And we were like, what whiskey? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, we didn't even put a whiskey like into any of the awards or anything.
Mhm.
They're like, yeah, this was a fan selected, fan favorite whiskey at the event, and Coyote Apple won. And we were like, just blown away.
Right. Do you get like like sometimes when people win like the little, like the ribbons and all that stuff, do you add it to the bottle?
We haven't added it to the bottle. It's kind of something we've just been telling people. I'm not sure that I like ribbons and stuff on my bottle. Like I don't know if I need that much accolade.
Right.
You know, I think that people are gonna find this on their own. We don't really. I don't want to have to tell you that. It does stand on its own. It's a great bottle of whiskey. It's made exactly the same way as the Coyote Peach, except for we blend it with a Granny Smith apple. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Fan favorite.
Get more that whiskey kick with the flavor behind it instead of like the sugars and the fruit. Yeah.
But you see that apple is just like, the apple's pure. Like as you're sitting on it right now, like you're getting that crisp bite
Yeah.
of a Granny Smith apple.
For sure.
When you chill this, dude, again, we're drinking these neat, right? This ain't chilled. when you drink this chilled the way it's supposed to be, it is the
So
cleanest.
you recommend
purest-
all this to be chilled?
all this to be chilled, except for Gannett Peak.
Yeah.
I would never tell you to put Gannett Peak on ice or chill it
And why is that?
because I like my
We'll get
whiskey
into that
neat.
next. Okay.
So these are all flavors, right? So I think
Right.
flavors all deserve to be chilled.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think that Gannett Peak should ever be chilled. But-
And what is Gannett Peak?
Gannett Peak's a fun story. Gannett Peak's a really fun story. So, if you guys don't, you should be. I showed you Thick
Yeah,
Redneck
you
Johnny.
should be.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
gonna
you,
follow.
I showed you Thick Redneck Johnny for the first time today. Thick Redneck Johnny is a cowboy in Wyoming.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, you like Johnny.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy. He's just a super like pure all American like cowboy. Yeah, but he's so fun, right? He'll wear like the cut off overalls and the guy's wild. So
But
again,
cheeks out.
but cheeks out. Well, first time he was coming to Michigan, we all got a little show more than we wanted. He was trying to make his new cutoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Were you on that live?
No, but I saw.
I saw.
He was on live one night.
He pulled his shirt straight. What did he say?
Did you throw a tip?
I tried, you know. I mean, I only had 50s on me, so you got it all.
He was cutting his new overalls, so he went to the farm store, bought his new overalls. He was coming to Michigan, wanted a new set of overalls. So he's on his live and he's cutting his overalls. Then he's like, okay, like he comes back on live and everybody's like, too long. He said, okay. So he'd go back on the screen, he'd cut it some more, and the people would say no or yes, and like and he was like, okay, I gotta cut it some more. Well, what he didn't realize is when he walked out of the screen on the third time, his iPad followed him. He ain't have nothing on. He had nothing on. So he's standing over there, and people are liking the comments, but he's not looking at his screen, right? So he is
he's over there
standing
doing
on
what
the
he's
other
doing.
side of this screen
Oh man.
in all of God's glory.
And keep in mind, it's a
Less
little chilly up
people.
north.
Oh man.
And I'm sitting on this line,
Shrinkage.
and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, buddy.
I'm so sorry, buddy.
I'm so sorry, buddy. But
He's
yeah,
getting some heaters. At least get him some heaters, man. Come on.
yeah, it's a little cold in Wyoming. Anyways, but yeah, so Thick Redneck Johnny's the guy behind this brand. Gannett Peak. He's from Wyoming. He's got cattle out there. He lives in Cody, Wyoming now. If you guys know where that is, it's a little mapped out about that big in Wyoming. You'd have to really zoom in just to even find it.
So is Gannett Peak actually like a mountain in Wyoming?
Yeah, so Gannett Peak is the tallest peak in Wyoming. So we named it Gannett Peak. That was by Johnny's request because he said, "Look, I want to." If you read the back of the bottle, it talks about our high expectations for whiskey, and the Gannett Peak towers 13,804 feet above the Wyoming landscape, tallest peak in Wyoming, which indicates our high quality of whiskey that we put in this bottle. So on the back here, if we can see that, this is Johnny's actual cattle brand. So we actually took his cattle brand that he brands his cattle with, and we put it on the bottle for him. So it typically has it up here too. It'll have his brand right here too. But this was very important to Johnny. The reason that this brand came about was Johnny called me and just randomly and just said, "Man, I'm just tired of all these cowboy whiskeys that aren't made for cowboys. They're made in Kentucky. They're made in Canada. They put a little cowboy on the top of their bottle, but they have no ties to the Western cowboy at all. And I'm just tired of it." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I hear you. Great story.
Right.
Whatever." Hang up the phone. I think about it, and it just kept stirring in my head, and it just kept stirring. And I'm like, he needs a whiskey because it's another one of those true stories, right? Gannett Peak whiskey is the tallest peak in Wyoming.
Got the
He's a
highest,
cowboy from Wyoming.
expectation.
Yeah, we got the high expectations. It has a meaning behind this brand, and this bottle means something to him, and it means something to the state of Wyoming that he went out as a Wyoming, native, and he did something that he could bring back and be proud of, that he made for the state in his honor to cowboys in the state of Wyoming. So that's a true story behind a whiskey. Not just, oh, we made this to
Everything here has meaning to it.
Yeah, exactly. So when I sat on that for a month, I was like, called him up one day and I go, "What are you doing?" He's like, oh, I'm just driving across the state or whatever the hell he was doing.
Cowboy stuff.
Cowboy stuff.
Across
Yeah.
my acres.
Actually, I think he was actually hauling hay for his cows back from Utah when I called him.
Real good.
Yeah.
Real good.
And I said, hey, I thought about this whiskey that you're talking about. And he's like, what whiskey? And I go, you know how you don't have a cowboy whiskey?
He forgot all about it.
Yeah, he forgot all about it. He didn't even know what I'm talking about. And I go, I want you to be the face of Gannett Peak. It wasn't Gannett Peak at the time. I said, I want you to be the face of this cowboy whiskey. We can create this whiskey for you. We can bottle it. We can do all the compliance. We can get everything legal. You know, we can make it at the distillery. We can do this whiskey for you. And he goes, me? And I go, yeah, because it's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And true stories sell.
That's something you should relate to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's why we did it. Teamed up with him. He's now the number 3 whiskey in Wyoming. It's only been out for 9 months. He's absolutely killing it out west with this whiskey. It's in 35 states now, which he would never believe that.
Wow, yeah.
Right. So it's fast growing. I mean, I would tell you that, and Derek can chime in on this, but every tasting we go to, it doesn't matter if it's in Orlando or Chicago. We introduced it at
NRA show.
at the NRA show in Chicago.
So it wasn't even legal when we brought it to Chicago. We
Whoa.
bootlegged it in.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hold on, it was a legal whiskey and it was legal in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
But we brought it so people could taste it throughout the country because we wanted to make sure it was a legal whiskey. We just wanted to make sure that people got to enjoy it. So we debuted it at the NRA show in Chicago. And it was our number 1 thing.
It was
It's
unbelievable pushback. Everybody was just like,
Yeah.
"That's amazing! I want it now."
Yeah.
And
It
then you
was
see
like-
on here it say 2021, so it's been almost been a complete year yet.
No, so it was in 2021 when it got legal.
Approved.
Yeah, when the cola was approved and it got legal through the government. So we always put the true date when that kind of thing happens.
Right.
That's not when it came out. We were not finished with it. It was not bottled. It wasn't ready. It was not ready until what, April?
Yeah,
It was April, right?
Yeah, and they,
April or May of 2022
Right.
is the first time. So it's really only been in any kind of production for 9 months.
That's cool, man.
10 months ago, me and Johnny looked at each other. So if you see this on the front of this, it says blended whiskey. When you think about a blended whiskey, you're thinking like Jack Daniels, stuff like that. Okay, you're thinking like, this is gonna go with my Coke. I'm not gonna sip this neat. Like that's not what we're gonna do. So we bring Johnny to the distillery, and we try it for the first time. We mix the barrels. We look at each other, and we go, oh shit.
So was this the first test? Like this is it, or did it take multiple times to get that flavor you looking for?
One time.
One time.
One
That's
time.
cool.
One
So
time. We took
we
the
got,
barrels.
we gotta sip this one, man.
Yeah.
We gotta pour this one up. This the only one that took one try.
One try. One
What-
try,
did
one
every-
blend.
Did the other coyotes take one try, or did they take multiple tries as well?
No, the apple took multiple tries. We had to figure out how to do it, and the peach took 3, and the apple took 2.
Okay, so this is the only one.
This is the only one that was singular.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, one time.
You guys are designing the bottles completely because I love the design of the bottles.
Thank you.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
So we do all the design in house. There's actually a guy, his name's Travis, that has designed all these bottles. Genius.
Yeah, I love the
Comes up with the logo. Comes up with the,
wood in the cord.
yeah. So shout out to Travis.
Shout out Travis.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, so this is Gannett Peak whiskey.
Yeah,
It's
this
a
is
30.
my first time trying it today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Gannett Peak.
Cheers, Johnny.
Warms you right up. Perfect for the colder months.
It's so nice, right? It's smooth. It doesn't have that like harsh whiskey bite, right? It's got that really nice hazelnut on the backside,
Yeah.
like that nuttiness that you're experiencing right now comes from the barrels. It's
Smooth.
I feel like I just like sip this with a block of ice.
yeah.
And just like.
Well, that's not what we made it for. We made it to put in Coke because we want to get the brand out, right?
Mhm.
So we're like, we'll do a blended whiskey. So if we do a blended whiskey, we can get it out sooner. Because we don't want to wait 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 years to put the whiskey out. So we're like, look, if we do a blended whiskey now, we can take some of the barrels that and we can blend them, and this will be great. So we'll just come with a blended whiskey. We'll get it out there. It won't be that good. We look at each other 10 months ago and go, what the fuck?
You don't have to mix that with Coke.
You do not.
You don't. It's not like
gotta mix
it's
that
not
up.
too harsh. Where you're like, I gotta
That's smooth.
give me some actually extra ice and some Coke to like make it taste good. No, it's like
Yeah.
you get one black. You don't have to chill it. You don't. Honestly, you can just sip it neat, or if you just want to sip it a little bit longer, add a little block of ice to it, slow it out. I like that.
Yeah, it's nice.
I enjoy that right there.
It's you get that little bit chilled. It's even better. It's just a great whiskey. It's a really nice. So what we play in what's called the economy whiskey game. Okay, so we're trying to come up with prices that everybody can afford, right?
And what's the price point of that?
$28.
$28. Oh,
Yeah.
great price.
Yeah. So Sip Shine's in the economy game too. Coyote is also in the flavored economy game, and then Gannett Peak's in the economy whiskey game.
Yeah, let's just talk about the price points real quick to all these people and where they can find it. So, you know what I mean? They interested? They want to try these things that we trying right now,
You
where they
should
can
be
get it
interested.
from. Yeah, you should be, because like they all for the flavor. It's like not one I can say like don't try. I feel like you should try all these and find out what's your favorite, because every time I try it, it's something different. My first time tasting the Granite Peak, and it's like I gotta add that to my bar. I have to. But just let the people know where they can find each. We still didn't get one more. We still got one more left, but they're like the price points and where you can actually find these.
So we did team up with a company in Michigan. We're from Michigan. We wanted to keep it in house, so it was really important to us to find a partner in Michigan to be able to ship this all out. So you can get this in every state except for Utah, Louisiana, Iowa, Virginia, Alaska, and Hawaii. Any other state we can ship to. So for wherever you're listening from, if you're not in one of those states, we can ship it to you. It's beveragewarehousemi.com. They're gonna put this little cool thing right now. Right? And it's gonna say beveragewarehousemi.com. That's the best place to go. You can go to coyotewhiskey.com, you can go to gannettpeak.com or sipmoonshine.com. You can go to either one of those and you can press the order now button. It will redirect you to Beverage Warehouse. You won't really know it's redirecting you. It'll look like you're still part of those pages. But you can go to any of those places. But the best thing to do, just to be honest, is to go to beveragewarehousemi.com, because if you go there, you can attach additional bottles that aren't in your state. So let's say there's like a Blanton's, or there's a something that you're looking for that you guys can't get, but Michigan has an allocation for it. They can get that for you. So if there's some sort of whiskey or something that you like, my suggestion is go to beveragewarehousemi.com, search everything, because when you ship alcohol, you have to they put a tax on it.
Right.
So they put a tax and they put an insurance on it. So it's automatically going to be $22 worth of shipping, no matter what. So if you order multiple bottles, now you're starting to get into cheaper shipping. So $25, $27 is going to be for like one bottle. Okay, that sounds like it hurts.
Right.
You're like,
That's another
hey.
bottle.
You're like, oh, hey, man. Like, so 25 to 27 is where it starts just for one bottle. But now if you had 2 bottles, 3 bottles, 4 bottles, 5 bottles, 6 bottles, you're really not increasing any kind of shipping, right? And you're just putting a lot less. But keep in mind, it's not them trying to put shipping costs on you. It's they have to pay the tax and they have to pay the insurance that the federal government says that they have to put onto that first. They do not allow them to put that into a different category to show that to you. They make them put it into shipping.
Right.
So it looks like the shipping's super expensive, but it's taxes and insurance.
Right.
So you gotta pay those first, but if you had 50 bottles, we did it today. Actually at the show with a guy, he ordered a ton of stuff. Right? I mean, his bill was over $800, right? And his shipping, $32. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not once you get past that initial, then you order more bottles. But find what you want. And find those bottles you can't get in your state.
Exactly.
So Beverage Warehouse MI is a really good spot to do. Get what you can't get and get it all at once.
Right.
So if you're gonna try these things, do it there, and then find something.
And
else
they
you like.
all under $30.
Yeah. So $14.99 for the Sip Shines. This one's gonna be $26, and this one's gonna be $28.
All under $30.
Yeah,
you
all
can't
under
beat
$30.
that. You can't beat that with the quality and the flavor that it all packs. You can't beat all these drinks bottles for under $30.
Your typical moonshine is gonna be 19 to 30. Sip Shines. That's why I said we play in the economy game. We want everybody we want to be affordable to everybody. You buy a bottle like this, from somebody else, this is 40, 50 bucks.
Yep.
Right? You buy a bottle of this, a Crown, 45 bucks. Right? I mean, that's what it's gonna be. But we don't want to do that.
And you can get another Moonshine, but it's not gonna taste like these.
Nah.
It's not gonna have
It's
the
gonna
flavor.
give you that. It's gonna give you like, I'll never drink
Yeah.
Moonshine again.
Yeah.
Type of feel.
It's gonna make you feel like you're not even drinking Moonshine.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, you definitely can't get you don't get no burn, but you get great flavor, and that's what I really like about Sip Shine. You know what I mean? Like I showed you that. Like get a little can. We go to like a lot of football games. So like when I wait there, we drink a can. By the time we get to the games, one can.
Oh yeah.
We got
You
we
feel
feel like
nice.
we ready to have enjoyed the game.
My thing for a while was the Mike's Hard. You gotta drink those tall cans to feel the buzz.
They
It's
got
like
the
Sip
carbonation
Shine. It's like, I
and
don't need that much.
You gotta go piss, carbonation and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Get you
yeah.
feel bloated, and this is like a
perfect.
nice cool sip.
That's right.
I mean, I know you're not doing the cans no more, so you can sneak this into a football game. Got the
For the
plastic.
tailgate. This is for the tailgate.
It's
Yeah.
you can fit it places.
But we
We
got
got
one
one
more
more.
to go. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Last
Let's do
one.
So this is our brand new one. This is caramel apple shina latte. This is think Starbucks caramel apple latte. So we did the same thing we did with the peppermint mocha, and we made it to Starbucks. Starbucks does a great job with their branding, right? So you know caramel apple's coming out, you know pumpkin's coming, and then you know the peppermint mocha's coming. They
And
put
you
the red
got
cups.
people anticipating it, like
Exactly. Right.
They wait for the drop.
So what we did is we really just kind of piggybacked off what they were doing, and we wanted to give people kind of the same flavor that they love from Starbucks, and we put it into a bottle.
Right.
So this is the caramel apple shina latte. It's gonna be light on the apple, and it's gonna be heavy on caramel, and it's gonna be heavy on the latte. Not very many people have tried that. I shorted you a little bit. We'll get you back.
Alright.
So not a lot of people have even tried this yet, but this has been a hit at the show as well.
Yeah, I
It has.
haven't tried,
It's
I haven't
very
tried
nice.
it.
Very popular.
Yeah, I love the smell of it.
Caramel apple shina latte.
Definitely care.
Cheers. Thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
It's always the experience that you have with Sip Shine. When you taste it in, swallow it down, take that deep breath in, and it's going to change your whole flavor. Blow out, and you're going to get a secondary flavor. We've designed really all of these to have that full experience. In, back, out, right? And you get a totally different experience as you're inhaling and exhaling, right? And then what's really nice about Sip Shine is there's always something left, right? Like you have that flavor. Like right now, that caramel apple. I mean, it's just hanging out.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
It's just chilling.
It is.
It's
Like
nice.
I'm telling you, like these flavors is like mind blowing to me. This one is I said this this one's a little bit thicker than the other ones.
Yeah.
But it's definitely full of flavor, and I'm telling you, man, it's like just so mind
These two are
blowing
the
to me.
dessert for me.
Yeah.
These two are dessert for me.
Yep. This is Sunday morning coffee.
That's Sunday. Yes, that's the coffee.
It's like-
that's the coffee right there.
It's really like mind blowing to me, like how all these different work in different ways.
Yeah.
Like none of them like mirrors the other one. Is all different, and it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for, it's like he said, like dessert. You want to add this. You want to add this to your Sunday morning coffee. You want that. If you want to stay warm, you want this nice cool summer day. Add ice. Like it's
Yeah.
so crazy.
I'm sipping these by the beach.
Yeah.
At the beach at the pool. I'm sipping these.
You're wearing a
man,
Carhartt vest. You're sipping this one.
Yeah. I feel like a cigar for this.
Yeah.
I feel like I got a cigar
Absolutely.
with
Yeah, so man, Kyle, man, you and your team is just geniuses, man. Just like, and I like how everything has like a real story to it. You're not just doing it just to do it.
No.
You know what I mean? I really enjoy that part about it, sipping, and I think more people should hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna buy a Sip Shine because I'm buying Sip Shine, but like, oh, I got this because you know this and this and this. And
What's
I,
nice is we're a real company with real people behind it, with
Yeah.
real stories, right?
You know what I
And
mean?
that's exactly why we did all these. We want everybody to be represented in a different way, and we want all the stories to be told.
Exactly, man. So
that. You're doing a great job at that.
sure. So I want to thank you for letting us meet up with you down here
Yeah,
when you come down to Florida, man.
Pleasure,
Thank
Sheldon
you.
Cooper.
You know what I'm saying?
Sheldon Cooper, and we're always willing to take a trip up to Michigan. You know, take a trip to Wyoming, wherever
Yeah.
we gotta go.
We are opening a restaurant in Grand Rapids, June of this year. So if you've been
I'm
to
gonna
Gatlinburg,
be at the grand opening.
hell yeah. So
I'll be there.
Gatlinburg style tasting room on the first floor, Old Red style restaurant on the second floor. third floor is going to be rooftop bar overlooking the city of Grand Rapids. It's beautiful.
That's definitely cool. And man, we signing out, man. We just had a great show with my guy Kyle, man. It's your boy 2-3 Drees.
It's your boy Shell Trevon.
And we got
Well, I'm supposed to say something?
yeah, who are you?
I'm Kyle with Sipshine.
And make sure y'all go grab ball list, man. We out of here.